I don't know of anyone who likes to be told no. I mean, if you have ever told a toddler that they can't have something they desperately want, I've seen volcanic eruptions that make me less nervous than a toddler who's been denied. But adults aren't much better. Try telling the lady with a full cart of groceries who's standing in the 10 items or less checkout that she's got to move. And let's just say I'm going to avoid that confrontation at all cost. Our egos don't like that little word no. It blocks us, it frustrates us, it makes us mad, especially if we feel the answer should be yes. It's a special kind of rub when you feel denied. It hurts even worse when you know that the person could have said yes, but they choose not to. That no can chap your soul. So, what do you do when God says no? I mean, He's all powerful and well able to do absolutely anything. So, how are you supposed to accept a no from God without being filled with frustration? And how do you keep that frustration from becoming rage? The Gospels tell us that Jesus experienced the crushing blow of a prayer denied during the 4 days of His passion. He pleaded, Father, if you are willing, please take this cup of suffering away from me. But we know that God didn't. Even Jesus heard God's painful answer of no. So, our big question this week is, will I trust God even if His answer is no? Will we trust God in the silence? Will we trust, as Jesus did, that even through excruciating pain, even death, that God's plans are for the ultimate good? Moms, God is a tender and loving Father who is always working things out for our good. So often we associate Father God with our earthly dads. Now, if we had a good and kind and loving father, that can foster a healthy relationship with God. But if our earthly father was cold and distant or abusive, we can end up projecting our father pain onto God, which can cause us to doubt His love and question His motives. That is why all of the things we have discussed in this series lead us to this deep foundational question: who is God to me? And can He be trusted even if His answer is no? It's essential to get to the root of who we believe God is, because it's out of that belief that we will act or react. We must look deeply into our own hearts and see what we really believe about the character and nature of God. Does God love you? Can you feel it? Is He close to you or is He far away? Do you feel safe with Him or do you feel unsure about His heart? Do you think you can do anything that will drive Him away? Do you feel His compassion or His judgment? It is absolutely essential to know your own heart on this topic. It will make all the difference in how you interpret your story. Now, we talked in session 2 about how God is telling His story through our lives and through the lives of everyone who has ever lived. But do you realize that you are telling yourself a story all the time? It's the narrative you tell yourself about the way you see the world. Aligning the narrative we tell ourselves with truth is the most transformational act possible for a human being, because only the truth is really real. Everything else is a lie, an illusion, a trick. Don't waste another minute of your life living out of alignment with truth, with God. Ask Him today to separate the truth from the lies in your belief system. Ask Him to reveal to you who He really is. Ask Him to reveal and remove your false self, which is the part of you that has been conditioned by the fallen world, and return you to the person He created you to be. You have been conditioned all your life to believe things about yourself that are not true. And you've also been conditioned to believe things about God that are not true. Asking for God to reveal these places is the beginning of restoration. It is the birthplace of true trust in God. Then, as we read the Word and ponder God's true nature, which is always love, by the way, we can see more clearly who He really is and why He should be trusted. We need the truth of His Word seared on our hearts so that when He seems to be silent or His answer is that painful no, we can recall those truths and speak them out loud. We must know that God is love, and everything that He allows to happen in our story is for good. God is always leading us in victory. Always. It may not seem that this is true, but that's only because we do not have enough context to understand the bigger story. God uses all things, including disabilities and even death, to accomplish His unique purposes. In His silence, and even if the answer is no, we can trust God, regardless of the outcome, by knowing that God is sovereign over all things. The sovereignty of God means that all things are under His authority and control, and that nothing happens without His knowledge and direction. He is aware of everything. Absolutely nothing takes Him off guard or catches Him by surprise. Everything in our lives, good or bad, was either allowed or given to us by God. Now, this doesn't mean that God caused these things that we perceive to be bad in our lives. We live in a fallen and sinful world. But His sovereignty dictates that His plans, His will, and what He deems is for the best supersedes my temporary circumstances. We need to better understand the story God is telling, not the one we are telling. What if we truly believed that all things really work together for good? Wouldn't that give us such peace and confidence if we truly believe that it's all going to be okay? When we surrender our story to Him, trusting that He causes all things to work together for good and that He is the good and loving Father who is full of love for us, then we can say, as Jesus did, "Not my will, but yours be done." We can surrender our will and our plans to Him because we know beyond a shadow of a doubt that God loves us. So decide today to get the narrative you are believing straight. Ask God to show you anything you are believing that is a lie. Tell Him you want to release those lies and see only the truth. Then prepare yourself to let go of the things that you may have believed that are not true. It will transform you, and you will end up feeling safer and closer to God. And who doesn't want that? Now, in our personal study time this week, we will look further at how to release the false self and how to know the truest version of you, the person God created you to be. We will challenge ourselves to look deeply and be brave enough to let go of all the lies so that our foundation is firm and unshakable. We are not promised a life without trouble. But if we can face those scary times with complete confidence in God, they will not overtake us. My friend Rosie has experienced firsthand hearing God's most difficult no, and yet she still believes. So here's Rosie's story.
I was 20 weeks pregnant when my doctor informed me that there was evidence on the ultrasound that my unborn son, Hiram, had suffered a stroke and would be born with profound disabilities. I prayed so hard for my baby, and I wholeheartedly believed that God would give me a miracle and heal my son. He did not. Hiram was born with multiple complex health problems. He was wheelchair-bound, nonverbal, and required 24/7 care. We spent many sleepless nights in the hospital trying to fix one thing after another. On July 21st, 2020, Hiram had a grand mal seizure that sent him into cardiac arrest. I prayed. I cried out to God to please save him. Please let me keep him here longer. Once again, the answer to my prayer was no, and Hiram passed away at 9 years old. I've prayed many times in the past few years and have asked for this deep physical heartache to be taken away. Yet the grief and pain of missing my son seems at times is just as strong and unbearable as the day he died. So why do I still believe in God? Why do I continue to pray and continue to trust Him when I have felt so ignored and abandoned and betrayed at times? It's because, looking back, I can clearly see all the miracles God worked in our lives and all the moments Jesus was there when we didn't even realize it. When He didn't heal my son, He blessed us with the most divine, special bond, a way to see someone for more than their physical abilities. We were able to communicate and understand each other without Him ever speaking a word. God provided me with the physical and mental strength needed to hold our son through all the countless lonely, sleepless nights, but also on all of our fun adventures. Hiram's big ear-to-ear smile and his unconditional love was something so incredibly beautiful, and it was such a blessing to witness the joy he brought people every single day. During the darkest days of my grief, Jesus has never left me. He comforts me in ways that I never thought would have helped and has shown up in the least expected times. He still hasn't completely healed my broken heart, but I've been able to give my pain to Him, and He's taken that pain and has used it for so much good. God has rarely given me what I've wanted, but He has always given me exactly what I've needed.
I have been so inspired by Rosie's faith and trust during all that she has faced. There were some very dark days, especially right after she lost her son, but she kept showing up. She kept giving God a chance. She kept on trusting and believing that even though God did not give her what she wanted, He has always given her what she needed. You know, God in His sovereignty did not heal Rosie's son or my husband this side of heaven. And God in His ultimate wisdom has not healed my son. But moms, Rosie and I can have joy in the midst of our sorrow and grief because we have the hope of heaven. We know beyond a shadow of a doubt that we will see Hiram and Jeff again. And I will get to meet the baby I lost. And my sweet John Alex will be able to run and jump and do all of the things that he was not able to do while here on earth. He will wipe every tear from their eyes. There will be no more death or mourning or crying or pain, for the old order of things has passed away. He who was seated on the throne said, "I am making everything new." This hope, this is what keeps me going. And this is what gives me hope and peace on the dark days. I know that God will make all things new. And there will be no more pain, no more sickness, no more sleepless nights, no more seizures, and no more meltdowns. God Himself will wipe every tear from our eye. I was thinking recently about the fact that God in His sovereignty allowed me to have a miscarriage all those years ago. But you know what? If I'd carried that baby to term, I would not have had my John Alex. My life would not have been radically changed for the good, and there would be no Rising Above Ministries. Could not have known that at the time, but God did. So moms, even if the answer is not what we want, even if the answer causes us sorrow and pain, may we be women of faith who boldly proclaim that we trust God even if His answer is no.